Hi, this is Melanie from Blue Diamond. Now, I realised that I haven't made any videos for a while, and I thought I would give myself a bit of a nudge and get on here and make a video for you. Now, often I am inspired by things on my shelf, props that I use to talk about with my clients. And one of the things that has come up a few times recently is about being curious and putting a curious hat on. Now, I looked around my shelf. Not too many hats there. So I went in search of a hat that could be useful. And I found this one. Now, this isn't particularly topical for the time of year. Many people are sweltering under the heat at the moment. But in the winter, this hat keeps my ears nice and warm when I go out for walks. So I wear it a lot. And what is the relevance of the hat? Well, the hat is about being curious. Now, as children, we are naturally curious. We ask lots of questions. I don't know if any of you have children or spend time with children. I'm sure you've been a child at some point. But often children ask the question, why? Why is the sky blue? Why does it rain? Why does the pigeon do that? All these kind of questions. And as we get a bit more, well, a bit older and a bit more experienced with life and maybe a little bit more jaded and a bit more weary, we lose the ability to be curious. And yet being curious is a really good skill to have. So often with my clients, and this is the relevance of the hat, I tell them, I encourage them to put on their curious hat. And by putting on that curious hat, it's an intention, and it's an intention to be curious, to look around them, to wonder about things, to ask people questions, and to get curious, maybe get curious with themselves. Why do things work in a certain way? Why does somebody respond in a certain way? And by putting on the curious hat, it is a reminder, a prompt to be intentional about this. Now, of course, we can keep this curious hat on for longer, but it might feel at first that this is a little bit tiring. We're not used to using this muscle of curiosity. So by putting the hat on, it's giving us permission to be intentional and to think with that curious mindset. So I hope that's been useful today. And I'd encourage you to maybe find your own curious hat that you can put on, whether it is a real hat or a metaphorical hat. But go forth and be curious and see what you can discover.